session. All right, awesome. So we got the session recording going. I think I've admitted a few more students in here. So, welcome everybody. I know that we might have some folks here that aren't normally in my class. I'm Ben French, or if you see on your screen, I'm this guy right here. So I'm one of the teachers. But tonight with us we have Cheryl, we have Jennifer with us, and most importantly we have Rick Best here to talk about tools. And we're really excited to have you here with us tonight. And so Rick's going to give you all the ins and outs and tools, and then myself and Jennifer and Cheryl, I'm sure we'll have stuff to chime in and add. And then, as always, I like to end my classes on a little tech tip. So towards the end, we'll try to give you some tech tips before we send you on your way. Those of you who happen to be in Cheryl and my section of AT100, I just want to show you where we're at. We're here. I'll clear my scribbles here. We're here on week 3. It's hard to believe, but we're already here on week 3 information. And what I wanted to point out to you folks, and for those of you like Jennifer, you can add this to your classes and we can get this put into Eric's classes. But Rick has sent me some flyers and deals of what tools are coming out and what specials he has going on. And so I did load those under the week 3 information under tool deals and information. So they have a starter kit, they got all kinds of stuff, and Rick will probably talk about some of that stuff tonight, but I wanted to point out to you guys that I did load this on your Canvas webpage, so you have this stuff to check out. Looks like my internet's being a little slow, so it's taken a while to load, but believe me, it's the flyer is on there. So there's all those resources. And then for you AT100 students, in all the sections, we have Larry Haw. Mr. Haw did a great presentation on hand tools for you that we want you to watch to put that together with the information that you hear tonight. So with that, I get a few more people admitted to our class session. Does anybody have any questions? You can shout out, you can raise your hand, you could put it in over here on the chat. That would work. But if you have any questions before we get started, be sure to send those our way. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my screen over to Rick, and Rick can put up his presentations to show you all the great stuff he has about tools. So any questions or anything, guys? All right, I don't see anything coming up on the chat. I know how it is. I put you on the spot to ask a question. You don't know what your questions are yet. If you have questions throughout our session, there's a little button you can click on your controls at the bottom where you can raise your hand, and you can always put things up on the chat. So Caleb says, nope, no questions. Great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my screen share, and we can see everybody come up. This is like the Brady Bunch for those of you who have been around a while and actually saw that show with all the faces. The rest of you, don't worry about it. So Rick, do you want to share your screen and you can jump into our tools? And as he's loading that up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Rick. Rick's our Matco tools rep, but he specializes in school programs, and so he not only knows about tools, but he works with students just like you guys all the time, and has some really good deals and stuff. But also he's out there in industry, so he's aware of current trends. I started going through my toolbox tonight, and a lot of the stuff I look at, I'm like, hey, that's pretty old. In fact, until recently, I was still using air tools. I didn't have any of the cordless electric stuff. So anyways, Rick's up to speed on what the latest trends are out in the field, and they're always coming up with new tools. So with that, Rick, why don't you take it away?
Absolutely. Thank you, Ben, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. As always, thank you to Ben, Jen, and Cheryl, and all the staff there at ARC for inviting me. You're my home school. I live right here in Roseville, so it's always a pleasure to see you guys, even if it is virtually in this chaotic year we're in. We certainly do miss you, and I'm happy to be here tonight to share all the annual deals and information with you guys. So with that, we'll hopefully get started. Why isn't my presentation working? What happened? Well, that got off to a good start, Ben. All right, here we go, guys. So the first thing we want to do, I always try to be one of the cool teachers and ask you guys to get out your cell phones real quick. I'm sure they're right by you. And in the upper left-hand corner of the screen there, you can see that little For Students app. That is the Matco Tools for Students app. It's available on either Google Play Store or the iTunes App Store. And if you would, I'd like to ask if you'd take a moment and get that downloaded, because that's going to open up the window to Matco Tools for all the deals for you guys. And just to sweeten the pot tonight, and Ben, I think I forgot to mention this to you the other day when we talked, but because we're doing this whole virtual thing, Matco has stepped it up and they're offering an additional 15% off on all the purchases. So you guys, when you download that app, it's going to open up something very similar to Amazon.com, any of the online shopping stores. You can browse for tools and look, read reviews and do your comparisons. And when you get to the, and then load stuff into your tool or into your cart. And when you get to that cart and you're ready to check out, whether it's 1 item or 10 items or 100, whatever makes you happy, if you put in the following code, Team Matco, all one word, TEAMMATCO, Team Matco. If you put that into your discount bar there in the cart, you're going to get an extra 15% off everything. And that's good through September 30th. So that was very nice of Matco to do that for us. So with that, we'll get moving here.
Hey, quick question, Rick.
Sure.
Team TEAMMATCO. That's the special. And then the app is Matco Tools for Students, because I noticed on the Play Store there was 3 or 4 different Matco tool apps. And I just wanted to confirm. It looks like that's what it says on the screen.
Yes, sir. For Students, you want to make sure you capture that one. And in the lower right-hand corner of this image here, highlighted in yellow, you'll see the word Team Matco. That's going to give you the extra 15% off if you use that in your cart. Good question, Ben. Thank you. All right. So as Ben said, my name is Rick Best, and I am the district manager for Matco Tools here in Northern California and Northern Nevada. I cover all of the Central Valley up to the Oregon border and all of Northern Nevada, Reno and Carson and the like. And within that role, I wear 2 hats. One is, as Ben said, I have the privilege of taking care of all the local tech ed students at the schools. And the other side of my job is that I take care of 34 franchise distributors. And each of those 34 folks and their spouses have bought a business, have bought a Matco Tools franchise, just as if you went down and bought a McDonald's or a 7-Eleven or any other franchise. We operate mobile stores, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. Some of the older trucks moving into the one dead center, that's our newest style truck, the big Freightliner M2. So as time goes, they just get bigger and bigger and fancier and fancier. And when you go on a tool truck, they are beautifully lit with LED lighting and state-of-the-art displays that you can touch and hold and play with. And so what our distributors do is they're assigned a territory and a list of calls. Day, Monday through Friday, they're going to travel around their area and service their the local shops in that area, the mechanical and diesel and aviation type shops. And they're going to go offer tools to those technicians. And it truly is a service that all the technicians want, they crave for, they need it to be successful in their jobs. So we really do provide a very beneficial service to the technicians out there in the field. And so, like I said, I have 34 distributors in my area that I take care of. And when I'm not doing that, I'm talking to you guys in the schools. And between you and me, that is certainly one of the more fun parts of this job. I do love it. So again, thank you guys for inviting me tonight. On the screen there, you can see my contact information. You are more than welcome to take a snapshot with your phone, save that information. Feel free to contact me. As Ben and Jen and Cheryl always say, I certainly try my best to get back to everybody within a very short amount of time. And I will help you purchase tools. I'll help answer questions for you about tools or anything else you might need. Feel free to reach out to me. All right. So this just happens to be an image of one of our stores pulling into a shop down in the Central Valley. And so I'm curious, does anybody here on the call tonight work in a shop? Feel free to wave or raise your hand or anything. Do we have any active technicians? We have a nice video here I want you to see.
Hey, Rick, try to turn the audio up. I notice it's very low. Hey, Rick, this has been, so I'm getting comments from the other students as well. The sound is very low. It looks like you turned up your volume. Would you double check all your controls?
Yeah, it's up all the way.
Huh. It's not like we can see the video, and Zoom's always a little bit, you know, there's always a little bit of lag, which isn't a huge deal, but not very much sound at all. I could just barely hear a whisper, and it seems like that seems like that's what other folks are saying on the chat.
Well, I do apologize for that. I'm not sure why all the volumes are up full blast. I don't know. I tell you right up here that it is available on YouTube.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I can try it on my screen if you give me the keywords for the search, maybe.
To my mechanic. Right
Yeah.
there, title,
Now we need the web mechanic, huh?
Why don't we just give them the link to the YouTube and they can watch it later on?
Yeah, we certainly can do that, Cheryl.
Because it's a little bit jerky.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
Maybe we can put that in the comments or something.
We can certainly put that in the chat. That's a great idea. Thanks, Cheryl.
Very good. All right. Well, basically what that video to my mechanic is a big fat thank you. The message there is that what we all do and what you guys are studying is a very noble and honorable profession that you should be very proud of. You know, Ben, Jen, Cheryl, myself, we are all very proud of what we do in the automotive industry, and we hope you are too. And so with that, we're going to dive in here, learn a little bit more about tools, why you need them, how you can afford them, and hopefully cover all your questions tonight. So Professional technicians own their own tools. Hopefully you guys know that. You're familiar with that. When you go out to work in a shop and you go for that job interview, that is going to be one of the very first questions they ask you. Where did you go to school? What type of professional tools do you have to bring to the to benefit the business? And it does make a big difference. So one of the privileges that I have is I get to sit in with large dealerships and also some small shops who ask me to sit in on their interview process.
There is a huge money.
Ben, are you playing with the video?
Sorry, I'm playing with the video. I will turn my mute on. I apologize. Too many things going on the screen at the same time. Give me just 1 second.
No problem. There's always that one kid in class. We understand.
I already put the link up.
Very good, Cheryl. Thank you. So as I was saying,
Cheryl, you beat me. I was trying to do that same thing.
very good. Yeah, I get to sit in on job interviews quite often, and that's always one of the questions they ask is not only about your background, but what professional tools you're going to bring to the shop. Very few shops do provide their tools other than entry-level lube tech type positions. Professional tools absolutely allow you to work faster and safer, and I'm going to come back to that point several times during the presentation tonight. The faster you work, the safer you work, the more money you're going to make. Tools should protect your body through ergonomic features, and that's something Matco Tools is very proud of, is that we have a dedicated research and development team, and that is all they do is study the science behind tools and how to continually make them better. So the big question tonight to start off with is how are technicians paid? And as you can see right below there in the bullet point, commission and flat rate tends to be the vast majority of how techs get paid. And there's good and bad to that. So what you see there is that book, that labor guide book by Motor. It's one of the most common in the industry, and most shops are going to have that, and that's how they are going to determine, you know, how much it's going to cost to fix a four-wheel drive system on a particular vehicle, let's say. They're going to look up in that book and it's going to say, okay, to fix that problem, it's going to be 2.5 hours. And that's what they're going to turn around and bill their customer for. Well, that's also what you're going to get paid for. And so the challenge there is to do the job within that allotted amount of time. Now, if you're an excellent technician with top quality professional tools, chances are you're going to get that job done in well under 2.5 hours, thus making a nice little bonus on the deal and allowing you to more quickly move on to the next job to make even more money. Now, if you are a little bit slower at your job or you don't have the right tool for the right job, that's going to end up costing you money, because when you go over that 2.5 hour window, now it's on your dime. The shop is not going to pay you any extra. So that's really important to always have in the back of your mind. So here are just a couple more examples of that book and how they use. This happens to be a Ford F-150. Some of the job and times on it there. All right, guys, so why do I need tools? Rick, you're here tonight. Ben and Jen and Cheryl, they're talking about tools. Why do I need it? Well, you're going to become a technician hopefully after you get out of school here. So if you can go into that job interview and thus into that job, having the tools now is going to aid you in that greatly. And dare I say, buying them while you're in school is going to save you a ton of money. And we're going to talk about that several times tonight. So the first question is, how do I buy tools from a tool truck? And really, what is a tool truck? Well, we saw the video, we saw the pictures. And like I said, that truck is going to come to your shop. And if your shop happens to be a Monday shop, he is going to come every Monday at a specific time, give or take a few minutes for traffic. And he is going to come and talk to you and aid you in whatever you need. Whatever tool it is, whatever advice it is, or sometimes it's just a cold beverage and a snack that you can purchase off the truck. A little getaway, some free cold air conditioning on a hot, miserable day like today. You tuck in those trucks that are ice cold, beverage refrigerators and snacks and anything you can imagine. So nice little getaway if nothing else. So how do you buy on a tool truck? Well, obviously you can pay cash, you can pay credit or debit card. We have something called a time payment, and I'm going to guess most of you are not familiar with that. It really is kind of a niche to our industry, and it harkens back to the old days. Basically, you're going to, let's say you want to buy that pry bar set you see on your screen there, 4-piece pry bar set. On the truck, it's $219.95. Your cost through the student program is only $108. So you can see why I strongly suggest buying through the student program. But let's say, you know, for argument's sake, it's that $220 price tag. Talking to the tool truck owner, our local distributor here happens to be Cody. So you're talking to Cody and you tell him you want this, and he's going to work out a weekly payment plan. Like I said, he's going to service your shop every week. And for that, he's probably going to ask you to pay $25 or $30 a week. And if you can agree to that and shake hands on that, or at least wave during these COVID times, we don't want you to shake hands, then you're going to take those tools into the shop with you and get right to work and start making money. And next week when he shows up, and for the few subsequent weeks following, you're going to make those payments and you're going to own those tools. So it's no interest, you know, a lot of times not even a down payment on the lower dollar items. It's just going to be a very small manageable weekly payment to the tool truck operator, and off you go with the tools. So it's a great benefit for technicians in the industry to get what they need, you know, at a very reasonable price. We all can go online and buy a lot of tools. Dare I say, none of those you're going to buy online are professional tools, unless you're buying them used through some kind of aftermarket website. But you're certainly not going to get a financial deal like that through any of the websites. We also offer contract financing, Matco financing. That's, you know, just like you fill out a simple credit application and then you're approved for a certain amount. Out on the tool trucks, you can get approved for $2,500 for $15 a week through Matco financing. So it's at a very reasonable interest rate of about 6 or 7%. So that's another great way for technicians. Usually when it comes time to buy a bigger toolbox or a higher end diagnostic tool, that's when the distributor will steer you towards that credit application. That way we can help keep your payment down to a very reasonable amount for you. So aren't all tools the same, Rick? You just mentioned buying online. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, on the left, there's some of the traditional tool stores we all know around town here. In the middle, there are a few supply houses. I think most of us have probably heard of Grainger. And then on the right are the 4 major mobile tool companies, Matco, Snap-on, Mac, and Cornwell. And each of those operate just like I explained Matco does. They're going to come to the shops each week and hopefully offer you great service. And that's really where it comes down for me, and Ben and Jen and Cheryl have heard me say this for years. When it comes to choosing the tool company you buy, it's all about the service you get. To a great extent, like so many things, the tools are very comparable. I always use the example of Toyota and a Nissan, very comparable vehicles. For most of us, it's going to come down to either a slight design that we like, or more importantly, the relationship we have with somebody at a dealership. The tool industry is no different. Now, the benefit, again, to the mobile tool industry is we come to you. As a technician, you don't have to give up your off time. You don't have to give up your lunch hour. And you certainly don't have to try to take time away from your employer's shop to go down and buy the tools you need. We come to you. So again, the shop owners love us for that. The technicians own us for that. Many of us are not good at saving proof of purchase receipts. Of course, you know, if you go buy something from Grainger or Napa, you're not going to be able to return it or even exchange it without that receipt in most cases. With us, that's not necessary. All your information is kept right on a computer on that tool truck. So we have all your purchase history, and we're going to, you know, have that at your shop every week. So it's a very simple process. Most importantly, as you can see on bullet point D there, in fact, all the tools you're going to get at the traditional tool stores and supply houses are not marked professional use. Now, when you get up, that might be okay for some of the small independent shops. They might let you get away with using a Napa wrench or something. But when you get into the big dealerships, that it just isn't permitted. They absolutely demand their technicians use professional tools for no other reason than liability. You could just imagine working on a fancy Lexus or Porsche and having a tool break and damaging the customer's leather seat or something, perhaps. So ease of repair, that's another great point to the, or benefit to the mobile tool industry. Again, we're coming to you. So let's say you break your ratchet there at work. We're going to be coming to your shop and we can repair or replace it right on scene that day. Within just a couple minutes, you're back to work making money. So aren't all basic tools the same? In this screenshot here, you can see a lot of different screwdrivers, wrenches, sockets, toolboxes, and ratchets. And while they all might look similar, they're not. From company to company, there are some vast differences. And that's where it pays for you guys to do your homework or to consult somebody like myself or even Ben, Jen, and Cheryl, who have been in the industry for years, and they can talk to a lot of the differences. With our screwdrivers here, I want to highlight a couple things real quick. In the upper left, you're going to see a graphic with some triangular shapes there, and that is the actual shape of the head or the handle of our screwdriver. Earlier, I mentioned the research and development team that works constantly to keep you guys safe. Well, this was one of the big things that we patented a few years ago. Most of us have seen square screwdrivers and round screwdrivers. Well, we went to this ergonomically designed screwdriver for a very intentional reason. We did some research and we found the medical claims on the folks who were using the other shapes were out just unbelievably high. So we did the research and we created this ergonomically correct shape, and it has drastically lowered medical injuries while torquing on a screwdriver. The other thing I want to feature there in the lower left, you can see an image of a snap-on, an orange snap-on handle along with the shaft next to it. And then below it, you can see a cutout of our screwdriver. And this is one of the big differences that I'm very proud of. If you damage our competitor's screwdriver, and it's a fine screwdriver, I'm not going to say anything bad about them. When I was a tech, I had many Snap-on products myself. But this is one of those differentiation points that I think is important to bring to your attention. When you break that Snap-on screwdriver, they are not going to hand you a brand new screwdriver. Matco Tools is. Our shaft is molded right into our handles. It's a one-piece design. It gives extra strength and rigidity. And so if you damage the tip on that for whatever reason, or the handle or whatever, you're going to come out, bring it out to your distributor on the truck, and he's going to hand you a brand new tool, no questions asked. With Snap-on, they're going to take your existing handle, put it in a vise, squeeze it really tight, and then replace the shaft. So, to some folks that might not be important. To others it is. To me, it's very important. I want a brand new tool if I break something. So, something to think about. How about sockets? There are some good differences between the companies with sockets. First and foremost, on the right side of your screen, you can see we have a patented OptiTorque system that allows our sockets to work correctly on multiple head designs. Most importantly, that's going to make you a faster technician. You can use one socket for many different applications without having to go back to the box and switch it out, which is going to cost you time and thus cost you money in a flat rate scenario. The other thing I want to show you there is that you can see the rails of sockets, whether it be SAE or metric, are laser etched and backfilled with color-coded paint. You'll notice the blue paint matches the blue rail and the red paint matches the red rail. Again, we do that very intentionally to expedite your process of fixing that car. We believe that lends to speed and professionalism, which is going to make you more money. All of our sockets and ratchets are made here in the USA. We're very proud of that. Not everybody can say that anymore. And all of our hardlines items come with a lifetime warranty, and we are extremely proud of that as well. So whether you crack a socket, damage a ratchet or a screwdriver, whatever it is, you bring it out to the tool store, you're going to get a new one handed to you right then and there. Here is just a couple example of some basic student sets I wanted you guys to see. And the primary reason I wanted you to see this was the price difference. And that price difference is what you would pay on the tool store compared to what you can get as a student through the student program. So on the right side of the screen there, you can see that top set, which is a very nice 1/4 and 3/8 inch set. That's $300 out on the tool truck. And as a student, it's half price. So Ben and Jen and Cheryl are going to talk about this all semester long, how it benefits you to slowly build your tool inventory through these student programs and save a ton of money. Now, you can do it one piece at a time, or you can, get 2 or 3 at a time, or you can buy complete sets. And I'm going to have more examples as we go through the presentation here. But you definitely want to take advantage of these student pricing deals, because the day that Ben signs off on your graduation diploma, you're off to the tool truck to pay full price, unfortunately. So take advantage of it while you can. These are some impact sockets that I wanted to show you guys. First of all, impacts are used on high-powered air tools as well as cordless tools. The chrome sockets we looked at a moment ago, those are going to be used for hand tools, a hand ratchet. So each tool has a very specific job and a specific purpose. These impact sockets here, they have special construction in the walls and the designs that are going to withstand the heavier torque of the tools you're using in the shops. And as you can see here, some of the pricing, again, as we look at these pricing, half price or more. And again, don't forget about that Team Matco deal we have this month for you guys, an extra 15% off. You definitely want to keep that in your mind and use that in your shopping cart. My favorite set there, I just want to mention to everybody, is that set in the lower middle. That's a magnetic metric set. And for those of us who throughout our career have dropped nuts and bolts everywhere and spent hours trying to find them, those magnetic sets are just an absolute lifesaver. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. Here is an example. Again, we talked about that patented OptiTorque system on our sockets earlier. We have the same system, patented system on our wrenches. And there are many designs of wrenches. And as you can see in the middle of the screen there, the Matco Anvil wrench box end does all of those fasteners. So we have one wrench design that is going to work on 6 different fasteners, guaranteed not to strip the head on any of those. We actually have demo blocks on our tool trucks, little miniature demonstration blocks, with each of those 6 fasteners, where the techs can try the wrench on them and see it for themselves, how it does not damage the heads. And again, by damaging a head, that's going to cost you extra money on that repair. So as a technician, that's the last thing you want to do, is strip a head on a bolt. So again, the right tool for the right job is critical. Here's just a couple more examples of some wrenches that we offer here, and let you take a look at the pricing. On the left there, $251 for a student, it's $123. Down below, $200 for $99. So you can see that that half off or more theme goes throughout all of our hard lines items. And you're going to see these same prices when you download that app we talked about in the beginning and go to your shopping cart and do a little shopping. You're going to see these same student prices there. So aren't all tools the same? We've talked about that a couple times, and I'll continue to say no, they're not. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see it says SO80 tooth there under that first ratchet head. That's the Snap-on 80 tooth. Right next to it is the Matco 88 tooth. And so there's some vast differences as you look through those examples. First of all, the quantity of teeth. That is how many times that ratchet goes click, click, click. And so the more clicks you have, the tighter of a space down in the engine bay that's going to permit you to work. Now down in that orange picture down in the lower part of your screen, those are examples of each of the 4 tool trucks and their ratchets. And the one thing I want you to notice there is the size of the heads. look at the vast difference in the size of the heads. Some are much thicker, some are much thinner. So as you can imagine, I always use the example of a small Honda Civic engine. As we dive our arms down in those engine bays, it gets pretty tight down in those smaller engines. And so having these slimmer lined tools, especially up on the head, that's going to benefit you greatly. On some applications, you will not be able to get the fatter ratchets down in there. It just won't work. So again, when you're going out to make those purchases, think about things like that. That is going to pay you dividends down the road. Just because it's thinner does not mean it's weaker in any way, shape, or form. Actually, it comes down to the design, the engineering behind it. We have the single pawl, they have a dual pawl. We have more teeth, they have less teeth. So that is going to aid you drastically in finishing that job faster and making more money. Here's one of my favorite slides here. This is just a small example of the 3/8 ratchets alone that we offer. So as you can see, from little baby ratchets all the way up to big long ratchets and everything in between. And that's just the 3/8 size. Of course, you have quarter, half, and 3/4 for the big diesel folks. So when you go to, again, when you go to buy your ratchets, you want to think about which size. You know, you're probably going to get one small and one medium to begin with, and then grow your box from there. After a few years, most technicians end up having 5 or 6 ratchets in their box, if not more in some cases, and certainly different sizes. So here are some of the features of the Tech Ed program that I'm talking about tonight. Again, 51% or more on most of the hardline items, your wrenches, sockets, screwdrivers. 51% off on 4S toolboxes. And I'm going to show you some examples of those just in a minute. And 30 to 35 off on meters and air tools and tool carts and a few other items. And again, you're going to get that extra 15% off for using Team Matco there. There's an image in the lower right corner of our little app on your phone. That's what it's going to look like for you once you go inside it. You can access your account. You can apply for student financing right there through Matco. You can access our tool catalog, and you can even contact the company or myself through that. Ben talked about power tools earlier. Here are just a couple examples. I wanted to highlight the prices and some of the selections. Everything from cordless ratchets to cordless saws and drills and polishers, all the way up to the big heavy duty impact wrenches. 20-volt impact wrenches, you're going to save a ton of money buying it through the student program. Now, Ben mentioned earlier a lot of the shops are starting to change, and that's something I started talking about a year or so ago. As I'm out in the shops every week, I have seen a dramatic switch from air tools over to cordless. It has really been quite profound how quickly it's changing in just the past 2 years or so. So as you're starting to think about purchasing, I would guide you towards the cordless tools. They are just as powerful. Our big gun has the same 1,600 foot-pounds of torque, cordless, as it does in the air tool. So the technology has just come leaps and bounds, but I would definitely steer you towards that cordless. One of the other favorite parts of our cordless tools that I like to, dare I say, brag about is that we have a patented technology built into our batteries and chargers, where if you're in the middle of a job and you happen to kill a battery and you haven't, let's say you didn't charge up that second battery, most of our cordless tools come with 2 batteries, which is a great benefit. But let's say you were asleep at the switch and you didn't charge the second one either. Our chargers have a built-in technology where you go take a 15-minute break and you're going to come back and that battery is going to be charged to 80% capacity. All of our batteries are lithium ion, and they all have a little LED gauge on them that you can clearly see how much power you have left in a job. So another great benefit that a lot of our competitors do not offer. All right, here's just one more example, the MT2779. This is our big heavy duty 1/2-inch impact gun. This is what most folks use for suspension applications up until a couple years ago. Well, now they're using the cordless gun you see on the bottom of the screen. Again, the same 1,600 foot-pounds of breakaway torque you get in the air tool, you're going to get in the cordless. So it's a little bit more. but the convenience of not dragging that air hose around is priceless. I also see when I'm traveling around in a lot of the shops that a lot of shops are doing away with their air tanks inside the shops, primarily due to noise and cost of upkeep. So they're asking their technicians to go to cordless. So that is one more reason you want to go in that direction, in my opinion.
Hey, Rick,
Yes, ma'am.
we have a couple questions.
Please.
One of them wants to know or Justin wants to know, how long does the discount code last, that extra discount?
Through September 30th.
Okay. And does it only apply to the Matco student app?
That is correct. Yes, only that is a deal that Matco set up for the students because you and I are, forced to not be able to see each other.
Okay.
So while we're doing these virtual presentations, that was just kind of an extra benefit.
And another one, how many times can they use that code? Let's say they find something a little bit later on, they want to use it.
Well, that is a great question, and I was curious about that myself just last week. So I had my son go on and make a couple purchases, and it worked perfectly 3 times in a row for him. So when I contacted Matco, they said that is an endless code, and you can use it as many times as you want through the month of September.
Awesome, thank you.
You bet. And thank you.
Hey, Rick.
Questions. Yes.
I was going to say, yeah, thank you, Cheryl, for asking those questions, and thank you for the answers there, Rick. When the students set up the app on their phone, at what point, there's a point in the process, as I remember, that they have to verify that they're an American River College student. Is that at some point, will myself or Cheryl or Jennifer or Eric Harper get an email asking, or I can't remember how it works now.
Yes, it does. They are now verifying that. So they're going to go in and you're going to set up your account, and it's nothing more than your name and your address and your phone number. They don't ask you for any credit card information, nothing like that. But it will ask you for your school and your instructor. And at that point, Ben, that's when they'll shoot you a verification email.
Okay, perfect.
And
Thank you.
The sole purpose for that, just to give you the background, was we had some folks who had graduated and were still, getting around the system and making a couple purchases. So they just want to confirm that information that they're active students. Good question. Thank you. So guys, on the screen here, you can see some of our tool storage options. And this is just a very limited selection. There are many more on the website. These are just ones that I chose to highlight here. So, as you're thinking about becoming a technician, you can go many different directions when it comes to tool storage. You can go to a simple tool cart, which is going to be perfectly fine to get you started in a small shop. Or if you're thinking about, something like a dealership, then I would recommend you get one of the 2 or 3 bay toolboxes up there that are featured. And so again, when you go into that job interview and you let that manager know, hey, I've got a professional toolbox, I have professional tools, I am ready to go, they are going to be more than impressed. And with your education that you're getting here at ARC, you're almost certain to get the job. So buying the tool storage, again, buying it while you're a student is going to save you a ton of money. If you look at that example in the center there, that's about a $7,400 toolbox that you're going to get for $3,600. Now, for all of us who have paid full price for a toolbox, we wish we had a deal like that. So I strongly encourage you to take advantage of that and get your tool storage while you're in school. We even have some packages, and you'll see those coming up here in a minute, where you can get tools and a toolbox kind of all in one neat little bundle there. And that's a great, we call them starter kits. And that's a great way to get started.
Hey, Rick, can the students get the 15% off extra on that big 3-bay box?
I haven't tried, Jen. I haven't tried that, but I don't see anything in my documentation that says otherwise, that they can't.
Wow, that's a great deal.
Indeed, yeah, another 15% off that. So guys, I want
to take 2, Rick. No, I'm joking.
Right, take 2. They're coming your way, Jen. One for school, one for home,
That's
absolutely.
right.
So I want to show you a couple features and benefits on our boxes that we're very proud of. We were the first to market with this a couple years ago with the adding power to your toolbox. Every one of our toolboxes comes with, on the front by the key lock up there on top, it's going to have a 110 volt outlet as well as 2 USB outlets. So how wonderful is that? You can, you know, charge your phone, you can charge that cordless tool we talked about earlier, you know, plug in your Bluetooth stereo up there, whatever you want. Now, after we came out with that a little while later, one of the shops in Rockland, California actually contacted us and had a problem with that. They said it wasn't good enough. Roger Nilo, who owns the Nilo Auto Group up there, Porsche, Land Rover, etc., he said he doesn't permit his technicians to put anything on top of the box. Everything must be in the box. In his case, he's going for a very uniform, clean look out in his shops because he's trying to impress a very high-end clientele of customers. So down in that big box, big drawer in the bottom right-hand corner, we decided to install a custom designed professional 7 electrical outlets and 2 more USB port power strip in there. And it's designed to go in and out with the drawer. It's not a simple little, you know, electrical cord like many of us have plugged into our laptops right now. Nothing like that. This is a big heavy duty chain, almost like a motorcycle chain that rotates around, and it is designed for that drawer to go in and out millions of times without failing. So very strong construction built into our boxes for all this power. So now all of your cordless tools, flashlights, etc., can fit down in that box, and you can keep everything charging and your box nice and clean for your employer. The thing I think I am absolutely most proud about, and I say this every year, is that Matco Tools continues to be the manufacturer for toolboxes built here in the USA only. Our competition is building a lot of their toolboxes offshore now, and they are fine toolboxes. I owned one myself years ago. I would not say anything bad about them, but I would say ours are a ton better. If you look at the bottom 2 images on the screen here, and oh, I wish how I could show you the video. On the lower left, you're going to see the inside of a Matco toolbox with a red letter T highlighted there. So we have a T-frame construction inside our toolboxes. So that gives it multiple points of rigidity. So that square box is never going to flux and shift. If you look at the image on the right, that's the inside of the Snap-on KCP box. And their upright beam that you can see there in the middle, it's only, its sole point of contact is only down on the bottom. It does not connect to the top of the box. There's about a 2-inch gap and nothing comes out to the sides. So that beam will sit in there and do this if you were to take out your drawers. So as boxes tend to move around, or as you move from one job to another job, that could, you know, potentially damage your box over the life of the box. So why not get a better constructed box? We are very proud of that fact. And there is a video on YouTube if you guys want a fun little homework assignment. It's called Matco versus Snap-on Toolbox Drop Test. And if you go onto YouTube and look up that toolbox drop test, they actually take these 2 boxes and they lift them up in the air about 10 feet and they drop them in slow motion video. And it's fun to watch. So check that out on your time. All right, so we've talked about how can I afford tools. I just want to cover that once more here. You can buy them individually or in complete sets like I've mentioned. We have just about everything you could ever need and more as a professional technician available to the students through our student program. If you go through the student financing, you can get qualified for $6,500 in financing and a total of $7,500 in purchases through the student program. Through the student program. So for that kind of money at these low prices, That's a box and a full set of tools with some left over. So you are going to be able to get more than everything you could ever need to get yourself started in your career. In the bottom center of that picture there, you can see a nice complete set that we offer with the toolbox and tools. If you go to matcotools.com/teched, and you can see that printed along the bottom of your screen right there in blue writing, that is our online web address. And that's going to give you the same information you're going to get on your phone, just in a slightly bigger format for us old folks like myself. So if you're more comfortable on a computer, you can go and do all this right on your computer. If you're comfortable on the phone, you can go and do it there too.
Hey, Rick, I've got another question.
Yes.
So Jay is trying to access the app, and he says it's asking for a distributor number.
Oh, okay. Number or name?
It says number on here. Is he in the wrong account maybe?
No, they could have changed it. I haven't looked at it recently.
Okay.
Set up an account recently, so let me pull up a number and give you Cody's number here. Cody's number is 454229.
Okay, that 916.
No, this is his. Is it
His number?
Is it asking for a distributor number or a phone number?
A distributor number.
Distributor number. That's what I thought. Yeah, so that's be the 454229.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You bet. And I can text that over to you, Cheryl, too. All right, guys. So when you're on the website there, you're going to have access to the Matco e-catalog, and this is just a small snippet I took and put together for you. Like I said, it's very much like any other online shopping platform. You're going to see pictures and reviews and all the detailed information of each tool. So, and, not only tools are available, but, on the e-catalog, there are all kinds of other things available. Cars and battery chargers and face masks and just about everything you could ever imagine is on there. So take a look at that. Here's a couple, one of the tiered sets we talked about. So for about $100 a month, you're going to get a nice starter tool cart and all those tools to go inside it. So that is a very solid toolkit to get you started. Ben has all this information. He can get this emailed out to you, or I can, if you text me or email me, I can certainly get this out to you as well. And don't forget the Team Matco, that's going to save you even more. Here's a couple of.
I wanted to share, Rick, with the, with all these tools, they're good deals. Of course, as your instructors, none of us want to see you guys overextend yourselves, right? So, like one of the things I put in the chat, but the tough thing about getting a new toolbox is the first thing you want to do is fill it with like matching tools and stuff. And so, we always want to caution you to not overextend yourselves, right? If you're on a budget like I was when I was in school, I couldn't afford to get a toolbox right away, but I did get one of those tool carts, and that was really useful because oftentimes, getting started as an apprentice, you might not have your own dedicated bay where you're working, and you have to float between different bays in the shop as you're helping other technicians or doing different jobs. So the tool carts are really nice, and it's a great way to get started. And it's something that even later on, once you get your toolbox, you'll still likely use that tool cart. So it's not like you'll need to replace it. So if you're on a budget or you're just getting started, the tool carts were one of my favorite things to use in the shop. So anyways, and that's, Rick, I believe last time we did our student awards, didn't you give away a cart similar to that?
Yeah.
I remember it was a really nice cart. Yeah. So
Yes, we did.
Anyways, so if you guys have a, if you're on a budget, which I'm sure most of you are, that might be a great way to kind of get started and start building up your tools and your tool storage, because you can't just come in with stuff in bags. You got to have some way to secure your stuff. So anyways, that was my comment there. I'll let it get back to Rick.
Oh, I'm gonna ask one more thing, Rick.
Yes, Cheryl.
It turns out it looks like we need a distributor phone number.
Okay.
because the other number's not working.
Okay. How about 916
Okay.
241 5111?
Okay. I'll type that in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cheryl, are you typing that into the chat?
I am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, and I'd just like to add, Rick is very generous donating to our student awards program when everything's normal. Typically in May, when the school year ends, we do a big barbecue and a student awards, and we look for the most outstanding student for fall and spring semesters. And Rick is always very generous in donating some tools and tool cards, and so thank you for that, Rick.
You're very welcome, Jen. Thank you for having me as always. That is certainly one of the highlights of the year when we get to do that. That's always a great event. So, and to Ben's point, I want to touch on that real quick before I move on here. His point was spot on. That is one of the things we teach our distributors early on when they go to school, is to care more about your customers than you do about yourself. And in that caring is to make sure your customers never overextend themselves. And to Ben's point, it's very easy to do, and a lot of us, myself included, did that once upon a time. It's very easy to do. And so the best distributors out there are never going to be the pushy ones. If you get a pushy distributor, walk away and find a better distributor. The best ones are going to care more about you than they are about that one sale. It's absolute proof. If they care about you, you're going to buy from them, for a long time, and they're more than going to, make that money up in the long run. So that's very important. The other point with carts that I wanted to concur with Ben on was that about 60% of the technicians out in the shops today have both a cart and a box. The carts have really earned their place in the shops. They are so portable. They are so easy to move around from bay to bay. And even as a flat rate technician, sometimes you're working in 2 different bays on 2 different projects. So having that cart is very valuable. So yeah, that is a great purchase and good advice. So back to this here, guys. Here's a couple more of the tiered sets for those of you who want to dive into the deep end of the swimming pool and go all out. This is a great way to do it. If you look at that Journeyman set, and that is the set I bought for my son a couple years ago, that's $4,600 in tools for $2,000. As a dad and somebody who really wanted to see my son succeed in this I have, to me, that was a no-brainer. That was there's great value in that purchase. And even the automotive master set for the senior students of the group who are ready to go out, that again, $8,000 for $4,000, that's a hard deal to beat. Here's a couple diesel sets for anybody who's interested in the diesel industry. Of course, the folks down at ARC Mather are doing a great job teaching the diesel program. So we've got a couple diesel sets, as you can see. So for these sets, you're looking at $110 to $125 a month to finance them. Very manageable. That was the budget after I got myself in trouble. I set for myself was $100 a month after my dad beat it into me. So thanks, Dad. That worked. Great way to build your tool inventory on a budget. And with that, that's all I have, folks. I do thank you. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I do have one more thing I want to share. I want to go back to the tool storage real quick. Here you go. So one of the great benefits, I've mentioned a few times how important it is to have a good relationship with your tool guy. Here's one of my favorite points to that subject. Let's say you're out working in a shop and you just got a new job. It's going to pay you a lot more money. It's a bigger, fancier shop, whatever it might be. You're very excited about it. But you face one inherent problem. How in the world am I going to get that big, heavy green toolbox from point A to point B? Well, you can try to lift it up in the bed of your buddy's truck. That's probably not a good idea. I've seen a lot of people strap on the back of a tow truck, a flatbed. That's never a good idea because they will damage it to no end, and they won't care the least about it. No, the best way is to have a relationship with your tool guy. You're going to call Cody up, our just local distributor, and you've been a great customer to Cody, and Cody's taking care of you. He's going to be happy that you got this new job, and he's going to make arrangements to meet you after work with his tool truck, and he is going to pick that up. All of our tool trucks are custom designed. The back of them have a lift gate that's designed for toolboxes. And once you go inside the tool truck, there are carpeted pockets against the walls that are specially designed to move toolboxes with no damage whatsoever. So Cody is more than happy to take that box from point A to point B, deliver it, shake your hand and congratulate you, no charge whatsoever. And that's really the benefit of that relationship I preach every year. Find that relationship and keep it and foster it, take care of it, because it will pay dividends in the end. Also, one other thing with toolboxes I want you guys to think of long-term is taking care of your toolbox, just like I hope you take care of your vehicles, because they have a tremendous trade-in value. Let's say, for argument's sake, you buy one of these tool carts and you outgrow it, you know, a year later, you're ready to move up to a toolbox. Well, if you've taken good care of it, you didn't damage it, dent it, sticker it up, whatever it might be, and you have that good relationship with your tool guy, he's going to be more than happy to give you what you paid for it in most cases and apply that towards the price of a brand new toolbox. So one more benefit to that relationship there, guys. Always keep that in mind. They have a great trade-in value.
Got another question for you.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Tony asked, just curious, do part-time students get a discount too, or only full-time? And can you define what that is?
Well, there's a wink and a nod that goes with that. Technically, it's supposed to be full-time students, but Cheryl and Jen and Ben, as you guys have heard, you know, I went to school part-time and worked, and I've asked my 3 sons to do that. So I am more than willing, anybody who is out there, you know, going to school part-time and working, you're going to get that same discount, no questions asked. In the world we live in, to me, that's the smart way to go about getting educated while continuing to, you know, earn a living and build your life. So yes, Cheryl, you will get that discount.
Yay.
You know,
Thank you.
what's good about that too is that with the limited class offerings we have, and the whole campus has had to reduce how many classes they offer, we probably have students out there that would be full-time normally that just can't be under these circumstances. So that's really cool that you're able to do that. That's good.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah. The chaos we live in right now, right?
Yep. Well, any more questions for Rick out there, gang? The name of the app. It's the Matco Student.
Matco Tools for Students.
There we go. Perfect.
Matco Tools for Students app. Yes, right there. There you go.
Well, excellent. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I will just finish up on just a couple of tech tips related to tools here. And let's see if I can stop the screen share real quick. Let's see. All right, there we go. And what I wanted to say is for tips, what I would recommend you guys do is take care of your tools. Rick showed a slide earlier tonight where you could see inside the ratchet head. You know, if you take that snap ring off, you can periodically lube those up and then put your tools back. Don't put them in a big pile. You'd be amazed how much more productive you are when you put those sockets back where they go. I can't tell you how many times where I'll leave a socket on the ratchet and then the ratchet gets piled up with something else. And then I'm looking for that socket and it's on the ratchet and I didn't put it back in my rack. So a lot of being fast, Rick talked about making your labor times and stuff. A lot of your speed is through the repetition and doing the same thing every time and not having to be forced to look around for things. So as you work on stuff, try to develop those routines and repetitions every time. And one of those is putting the tool back where it goes every time. That will save you a lot of speed in the long run. And I know sometimes you think, well, I'm using this a lot, I'll just put it on the pile. It always ends up where especially if it's the first time you've worked on something and you don't know exactly how to take that apart, or it's still fresh. Putting those things back will save you time in the long run, and cleaning up your work area when you're done saves you time as well. Cheryl or Jen, do you guys have any other tech tips for these guys?
I wasn't ready for that, but I'm sure I'll think of some later.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, I got a question for everybody. If you're getting started in mechanics today, what type of tools do you want in your box first? Do you want metric tools or standard tools?
I'm gonna guess metric.
Yeah, unless you're like Jen and me, where you're working on old cars, old American cars, you're gonna want metric stuff, right? Everything, it's a metric world. Unless you're working on old American cars, you're gonna want your metric tools. So if you have a limited budget and you're just getting started, unless you personally own an old American car and that's what your goal is, to work on that car, I would spend my money on buying metric tools and focus on that first, and then maybe buy some standard stuff later on for my hobbies or projects. But you just don't see the standard stuff like you used to. I mean, every once in a while you get some oddball stuff. This race car sitting behind me, that a lot of the body is standard, but the engine and stuff is metric. But most stuff is all metric these days. Good deal. Any other questions, gang? Well, Rick, I just want to thank you for showing us all these great deals and teaching us something about tools tonight. We really appreciate it. You've always been a great supporter of ARC and all of our students. And I think I can say on behalf of all of us, we're really looking forward to life getting back to some normalcy. And at some point, we'll be able to do our automotive awards picnic, and we'll be sure to have you at it. So anyways.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So if you guys don't have any more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. It's been a pleasure. It's really great to see all of our students out there. We're going to keep working on classes and planning great schedules for you guys. And our hope is that next semester we'll be back to doing hands-on work. So that's what we're certainly planning on. So, all right, everybody.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Oh, 2003 Buick Century, yeah, mostly metric. Those American cars get a little tricky. So, all right, you guys, take care, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.